And welcome back to Nittany Game Week. Thanks to the schedule, looking ahead past their next opponent is a luxury Penn State can afford. UMass at home is next up, not before PSU takes advantage of a weekend without a game. For the coaching staff and players, that doesn't mean sit around on your couch and consume everyone else playing. The Buckeyes are just ahead in a few weeks in the Horseshoe.
Well, during an off week, you want to catch up on some things, get some self-scout done, but we also want to take a fan question in this segment because we're doing Nittany Game Week overtime at NittanyGameWeek.com. But here is one that we're hearing from everybody. Why are the Ohio State and Michigan games both going to be at noon? Why can't these games be at night? And let's talk about why that is. The Nooners this year have delivered the last couple of years since Fox made a move to put these games at noon. You look at a lot of big ratings in those games. You look at 2022, same thing with big results. 2023, same thing as well. Now, one of the reasons TV is so important is because if you go back a few years ago, football stadium revenue was generating $24 million in profit. Now, the expenses have exceeded that, so that TV money becomes more important. And TV money is now bigger than stadium money. So those are the reasons why. You may not like it, but that's just the way the game is going to be. Now, talking about the way the game is going to be, another question we've gotten about is the offense. Let's take a look at the offensive by the numbers. Doing very well in points. Yards per play is the one that comes in that's 10th in the Big Ten. That's because of, the lack of explosive plays that you're seeing, so that number's down. But turnover margin first in the country and first in the Big Ten. Let's take a look at the defensive side of the ball. Massively good numbers across the board there, Tom.
Yeah, you can't beat the way they're playing defense right now. But let me say this to make sure we're on the same page. The other thing they've been able to do is they've been able to control the ball. Not a lot of turnovers on offense, and been able to run that football very consistently.
And that's what we're going to get into. Let's take a look at a lot of questions. More fan questions about where are the deep passes. When you look at the zone, this is what we call a hit chart when you self-scout. Here's your line of scrimmage. We're just using that. And you take a look at where you want to try and get the ball deep. Against 3 deep in the middle, you're only thinking this down here because those are the seams in the zone. Against 2 deep, you're thinking outside, and then your deep play action pass throws, just so you get a feel for where you're going to throw the ball deep against defenses. Now, we took a look at the hit chart, Tom, and what do you see? Illinois is a man team. Here is the 20-yard line, Tom. What do you notice?
Right here, and once we talked about, they've got to start taking shots here in the middle of this field because this free safety is getting way too antsy as the game goes on, making some run fits.
Yep, and then just only one shot really against Illinois. Now take a look at zone team now. The next week, Iowa predominantly a zone team. A lot of short throws, safe throws. Again, what that does is it keeps you from turning the ball over when your defense is dictating the terms of the game and the way it's being played. Nothing over 20 yards. Okay, so now let's go to the last one, Northwestern, some zone, some man. Tom, again, what do you see here?
Once again, there's not very many shots. Nothing again in the middle of the field.
Yeah, and a lot of things on the outside to make sure. Good, safe throws that keep you from, again, you're playing a game where you're trying not to lose because your defense is doing such a great job, and teams are playing you that way. Now, when you take a look at add all 3 games together, you can really see where that chart is right now. And again, the green ones are completions, red ones are incompletions, but that you get a feel for how they're distributing the ball. Now, what does that mean for you in the run game? Tom, if you're playing safety and you're not getting any threats out here, what can you do?
You get this guy. He's coming downhill as fast as he can, and he's a really big-time filler. And when he starts filling that quickly, you got to start accounting for him.
Yeah, take a look at this. You're going to see, just watch that safety. From the minute that he sees a run, because he's not really worried about anything over the top, down the middle of the field on him right now, based on that chart, here he comes down, makes contact 2 yards down the field.
Very aggressively making contact. He came really quick on that.
Okay. Now, let's take a look at the other element. Now, Penn State has not necessarily not called the ball down the field. Sometimes with a young quarterback, they come off a guy too fast when they see a little traffic. And now, with this safety being held by him, he's got a shot on him, but you'll notice he comes off that pretty quickly. And take a look at this on the video from the end zone. You'll see he's looking at him, sees the contact, and then comes off it and tries to find something underneath. So sometimes it's not the play call. It's just a quarterback doesn't actually take that shot. But, you know, those are the kind of things that Penn State's going to be looking at during the off week. And those are the kind of things that the opponents are going to look at, too. So it's important for both of them.
Of course, for Jay, there's a lot more material to go through for the offense. They're on the field all the time. That's just fine with defensive coordinator Manny Diaz. His defense is quick and to the point. Get the job done and get to the sidelines.
And ideally, that just keeps us fresher for the second half of the season, you know, which and we've got some guys who have played, you know, under 75% fewer snaps than they played this time last year. So there's a real added benefit to that.
Penn State, #1 in the country in time of possession, which means nobody's defense gets more rest than the Nittany Lions. Still to come, we go cruising with former running back and magician Blair Thomas. He tells us how you can spend a week at sea with Nittany Lions legends to benefit Special Olympics and why he taught himself card tricks when studying his playbook. More Nittany Game Week after this. And don't forget to show us your pride by submitting your Nittany Game Week pride picks on our website. Could be at the tailgate or rooting on the blue and white from home. Kids, pets, we want to see them cheering on the Nittany Lions. Send us your pride picks at NittanyGameWeek.com.